Today on Ballistic Burgers, I am going to be creating a delicious, actually edible hamburger using the flavors, textures, and ingredients of the famous Dubai chocolate bar. I'm not kidding, it's gonna be good. Let's get going. So the Dubai chocolate bar is something that went kind of viral on platforms like TikTok. I don't use TikTok, so I never saw any of these videos. But my wife and I were driving through a local little family-owned coffee shop, and they had a sign that said, "We have Dubai chocolate." And I didn't know what it was. We pull up to the window and I asked, "Hey, how much is that Dubai chocolate?" And it was a chocolate bar for like 25 bucks, which I did not buy, but I was talking to my wife about it, and she was explaining the whole Dubai chocolate thing. So I started looking into what a Dubai chocolate bar was, just out of curiosity, and all of a sudden a little voice whispered in my head, "You can do it, Greg. You can make a hamburger using these ingredients, these flavors, these textures," and that's exactly what we're going to do. And I promise you, this is not a video. I hate those videos where people are ruining food to get clicks. I'm honestly thinking that this is going to be a really, really good burger. And I can guarantee you, once I start cooking this, you're going to see that it's not what you're thinking by reading the title or looking at the thumbnail. Let's get going. So I've got the grill going right now, medium high, medium low. Here's my patty. This is a little over 7 ounces of ground chuck, 80-20. Hit it with a little bit of salt and pepper. A little bit more salt and pepper. All right, I'm getting some good color up the sides here. I can see that the steam is starting to penetrate through the surface of this patty. We're going to flip. Nice crust. Now on this side here, I'm going to get down a little bit of oil. This is avocado oil. I have some really nice looking buns. These are brioche with sesame. Now you just put down that oil, it'll help get a nice toast. And right now, so I don't forget, I'm going to put down some pickled red onion. This is my acid component for this burger. It's going to definitely need a little acid, as you'll see. On top of that, I'm going to put some cheese. This is provolone. And I went with provolone because the flavor is relatively neutral compared to a lot of the other cheeses. I wanted the cheese, I wanted the melty creaminess of cheese, but I didn't want a strong flavor. This is where things get a little bizarre. I've got a little like sieve here, a little screen. This is cacao. Unsweetened cocoa powder, basically. Because it is a chocolate bar. And they use either dark chocolate or milk chocolate. I want to go with this. This is going to be, some bitterness here. Then to kind of counter some of the bitterness, some honey. I'm just drizzling some honey. Hit it with some tahini, some sesame seed paste, some water. All right, let's do this. Bring that burger patty down. Perfect fit. Okay, the next component to that Dubai chocolate bar is what they call katafi, which is a very finely shredded phyllo dough that's baked in there, and it provides a nice crunch. So we have some Mediterranean markets around here. I bought some katafi, frozen katafi, and I actually baked it this morning. I formed it into a little patty shape. And I want to get this out of the way right now so I don't forget. Every ingredient that I've used in this video, you can buy online. So they're not, unreachable. They're online. And I've also learned a lesson that I'll talk about during my debrief, I guess. Anyway, here's that katafi. You can see just very fine, like hair almost. That sounds gross, but you know what I mean. It's going to provide a nice crunch, not a lot of flavor, but texture. So the next ingredient, which is what I'm really excited about, is pistachio paste. if you guys have never had a peanut butter burger, and I know a lot of people are real resistant, I guess, reluctant to try a peanut butter burger, you're really missing out because, again, I always say peanut butter, peanuts, and beef, they just go hand in hand. And that Dubai chocolate bar, it's got a pistachio cream filling. So I bought some pistachio paste, some cream really. We're going to put that on the top bun. So one thing most people don't have to consider when they're doing things like putting a spread on a bun is thumbnails. I just want to make sure that this green stuff shows in my thumbnail. Now for the crown. So my whole goal of this cook was obviously to incorporate the flavors and the textures and the ingredients of that Dubai chocolate bar without making it one of those ridiculous shock videos. I wanted to create something that would be really good, and I was trying to balance, you know, savories, sweets, and I needed some acid. We'll see if I succeeded, because a lot of these videos like this one here, the first time I do them, the cook is in front of you. And like I said, I've learned a lesson, a valuable lesson. I wish I would have probably test drove this recipe, but anyway, as far as technique, there it is. I got a burn on my hand here. It wasn't from any video. It was actually pulling out a cookie sheet from the oven with biscuits on it, and I got a burn right here. So I'm wearing gloves because it's not real sexy right now, but it will be next week. It's a pretty nice looking burger though. All right, here it goes. This turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out. Nice and juicy. I'll be right back. I'm going to cut a piece off this. I want my wife to try this. Stand by. I don't do this, what I'm doing right now, very often. Here, I'm still in the middle of my shoot. I wanted you to try this. All right, I'm back. This burger is freaking amazing, and I'm not lying. So I wanted to go with a pretty thick burger. Like I said, the bun was relatively small as far as the diameter is concerned. So it's a little over 7-ounce burger patty, pretty thick. And I wanted that because I wanted to have a lot of savoriness in this burger, knowing that, you know, the pistachio paste was going to be pretty sweet. And it's not really too sweet, but it's definitely sweet. I was struggling with what to use, you know, in my mind as I was trying to figure all this out for an acid component. And these pickled onions were the perfect choice. I'm glad I didn't go with pickles. I don't think that would have went well with the pistachios. Jalapeno, it just wouldn't have worked. It needed some acid, and these onions are perfect. It's just that, you know, that subtle onion flavor, and then that bite of the apple cider vinegar with all those spices. You know, I always use pickling spice when I make, you know, when I pickle anything. That katafi, there's very, very little flavor there at all. I mean, like I said, it's just shreds of phyllo dough, like little hairs, but it provides a crunch, and it's a nice, you know, crispy texture, but it's not like a tortilla chip. It's just a really light crunch that you're getting in there. The cacao, again, I didn't want to do the obvious thing and put a chunk of chocolate on there and melt it. I wanted some bitterness, and then I wanted to balance the bitterness out with sweet. And I knew the, you know, pistachio paste would kind of help balance it out, but I also wanted some honey because honey is a very Mediterranean, you know, Middle Eastern ingredient. So I, you know, hit it with a little honey. And it's funny, the tahini, I I didn't even realize it was in this burger, being used in the Dubai chocolate until I was kind of going over, doing a little bit more research this morning. So I'm driving to the Mediterranean market. Luckily, they were open at 7:30 in the morning to buy some tahini. But for those of you who may not know, tahini is just, all it is sesame seeds that are ground to a paste. I mean, and if you ever had a confection, Middle Eastern confection called halva, that's what it tastes like. There's no sugar in it or anything, but it helped tone down the sweetness, but also added that unique flavor. This is unlike any burger I've ever had, and I'm not exaggerating. This is one of my, right now, all-time favorite burgers that I've made. Shockingly, because I did not expect it to be this good at all. And then there's smells, and a lot of times that's the first, sense that grabs something you're going to eat. You smell it as you're bringing it up to your face, and I'm really smelling that tahini, that sesame smell, and the pistachios. That's what you're smelling when you're bringing it up. And then you're biting into it, and you're getting this like savory flavors, and it's just perfectly balanced. I'm very, very, very happy with myself right now. My wife and I were talking about this as I was getting ready to come out and shoot, and she was asking questions, and I just knew it was going to be a good burger. That's why once I bit into it, I was so excited, man. I didn't want to wait till it got cold. I wanted her to have the experience that I just had. So that's why I cut a piece off. Whew, this was good. Okay, so lessons learned. And again, this is the downfall of doing recipes without doing a kind of a rehearsal, I guess, a pre-run. But usually when I start conceiving things, I kind of know if it's going to work or not, and I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that I usually know, and I have had failures. You saw one a few videos ago with that hot dog thing I did. I knew this was going to work. Here's one thing that I would do differently though, is the cacao, I'm keeping that, but I would put the honey on the burger patty first, because you guys could see probably on the video, I know you could see that the honey was hitting that powder and just kind of rolling off. So I was having trouble keeping everything together. If I would have put the honey down first with the cacao on top, everything would have stayed in place and I wouldn't have had that issue. That being said, I achieved what I wanted to achieve flavor-wise. By the time, I got the little dome on the steam, everything, it was all staying in place. So a lot of the honey went onto the flat top, but I compensated by adding more. Wow, dudes, that's stupid, Greg. This is good. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, this is what it is. It's just burgers. I do my own creations, and I do copycats, and I love to do requests. So if you have anything you'd like to see me do, put it in the comments, or I have an email link down in the description box. Shoot me an email and I'll try to get to your requests. If you're new to the channel or haven't hit the subscription button yet, I'm asking you please consider hitting that sub button, ringing the notification bell, and thumb it up if you like it. I really hope you guys did, and I hope the title of this video didn't scare a lot of people away, made them decide not to click on it. But I respect my food, and especially when I'm eating something that basically sacrificed everything so I could. I think it's disrespectful to ruin perfectly good food. So I don't do those type of videos. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.